What did you do that you immediately regretted? One night stand at a party in college with a girl who told me she loved hooking up at parties. Wanna know the main reason why people stay away from laters with people who have slept around a lot? The risk of getting an STI. Even though I wore a condom, I spent the next couple weeks sweating it out mentally before I went to take the test to see if I had an STI. I was negative, thank God, and I never had a hookup again, because that waiting period to find out your results when you think it could be possible increases your anxiety by a million times. Smashed a thick glass jar with my hand, because I was pissed at myself for not cleaning the kitchen the night before and wanted coffee, slicing the nerve to my index finger and causing so much pain and blood I passed out twice. Developed a medical phobia from the experience and have permanent feeling loss in my hand. I was in so much shock and pain the hospital thought I was faking it for drugs and wouldn't give me any painkillers for 2 hours. I've made serious progress on my anger management since. Kept shutting down a girl who clearly liked me. This was 6 years ago now, but it took me so long to figure it out. I had a female friend who I got on super well with. We'd spend so much time together and talk about all our problems. At the time I was super socially awkward, but now 6 years later I realized that poor girl had something in for me, and I missed all the signs. She eventually gave up and is with someone else now, and we don't even talk anymore. Not my smartest. My mom had PPMS, primary progressive multiple sclerosis, from the time I was 2 until she passed away when I was 32. When I was about 12, she stopped walking. Shortly before she stopped walking, I told her she looked like a penguin when she walked. I was trying to be lighthearted in a time that I knew was mentally tough for her, but I shouldn't have said that. It made her feel awful, and that's the last thing I ever wanted her to feel. I still think about it and feel guilt. I got to my fiance's apartment before her. We were both driving separately and hid in her dark walk-in closet. As she was taking off her jewelry with her back to me but facing her mirror, I spied her, ran at her while growling. The terror in her eyes seeing me scurrying at her from behind in the mirror, combined with the loudest blood-curdling shriek I've ever heard, caused me immediate regret. I felt horrible. Surprised the cops didn't show up. When I was a punk teenager, I was out to eat with my family and a friend's family. My friend's mom was on the heavier side. When the server asked if anyone wanted dessert, my friend's mom said no. And I out loud, in a sort of whisper but loud enough for people to hear, and without stopping myself, said, "Well, there's a first." It's quite possible the meanest thing I've ever said to somebody, and I still feel bad about it over 20 years later. Worked for 2 years toward a management role. Special projects, a 3-hour interview, 6 months of on-the-job and book training with a 30-minute presentation in front of the district manager, his boss, and the division president. Second day on the job, I knew I fucked up and did not have the skills for what they expected. I toughed it out for almost 2 years before I stepped down. It was like winning the lottery. Make a racist YouTube video when I was 10 years old in YouTube back in 2008 and forget the password to my account. By the time I was in high school, the video had over 2 million views, and that's what everyone knew me for. Even the teachers knew, and it was one of the most awkward and worst experiences of my life. I tasted the consequences of doing stupid things on the internet at an early age. When I was about 13, I was playing on my Xbox with some school friends and they all had loads of brand new games. I knew my mom wouldn't say yes if I asked her to buy me some games off Xbox Live, as she was working a job she struggled with. I still decided to steal her bank card and buy about £1,000 worth. Fortunately she didn't punish so much, but I've always regretted it and it stayed in my mind. Having kids. Don't get me wrong, I love them and do everything in my power to raise them right and protect them. But if I was warned even the slightest that life is over, forget fun, you'll never have a peaceful moment again, get used to worry and guilt being your constant emotions, I think I would have made a different choice. Also, I had twins and no help, so it's different. Quit a job I really enjoyed because my friend quit to go work at another company and he said he was able to get me a job with him. The new company was small, operated out of a shared workspace, and management had no idea how to run a company. I purposely got myself fired so I could collect unemployment while I was looking for another job like the one I had quit. Told the toxic girl in my class she was ugly. I had never been so quickly destroyed by a group of people. Like, bro, you all defended the girl who's cheating on her boyfriend? Man, I called her ugly cause she kept making fun of how a girl was fat. BTW. X200B. The fat girl joined in the bullying of me. X200B. I never defending anyone ever again. When I went to high school, on my way, a poor, most likely homeless lady asked for food. She said she doesn't need money, but something to eat. She was clearly sad and desperate. Back then I was always hungry and hated it so much I ran away. Since then I wish I could go back and actually give her my sandwich. She needed it more. Disappointed face. When I was a kid around 9-10 I was in shop with my mom and my grandma and I wanted so bad a game in PS1. Yes, I'm old. My mom bought me the game. I was so happy, but when I saw her face with tears I didn't understand, and few years after I understand that my parents had financial problems I felt so sad. Put mayonnaise on pasta when I was 5 because I confused pasta with french fries. I don't even know how that happened. My mom tried to convince me that it won't taste good. She eventually let me do it, but only if I finished the plate afterwards. Most disappointing meal of my life. I tried to take my cat to the park to train him to be an adventure cat. A few seconds after putting him on the grass, he spots a dog and bolts across the street. Took nearly 2 hours to get him home and I was a blubbering mess by the end. Never again. During my early teens I had never been stung by a bee, so when I found one that had trouble flying in the backyard I had it sting me. But not on my finger like a normal wood person, but on the fleshy inside part of my elbow. Instant regret. I once replied to an email in a hurry without double checking the recipient. Ended up sending a personal message to my boss instead of my friend. Man, face bombing. Immediate regret followed by a swift apology. Double check before you hit send, folks. Said I do, and proceeded to have a full-blown panic attack because my subconscious knew what my ego could not admit. This is before people knew as much about panic attacks. They thought I was hyperventilating due to being overexcited. One time I accidentally sent a nude photo to my gal pal who has a name with the same initial as my husband. I thought I was gonna die. We haven't spoken about it since, but sometimes, it creeps up at night and I lay there in shame. Almost bought a $1,300 phone at Best Buy just because I had money. Thankfully the bank came in clutch and kept denying the transaction, so I left and then found myself at the weed shop with my mom 20 minutes later, smiley face. Followed an article I'm 17 magazine when I was in middle school in 2001 to tweeze my eyebrows and accidentally plucked them all off. Waiting for them to grow back was rough. Stupid thin eyebrow trend. Once I swiped somebody's beans off the table at school simply because dude put the tray where I was going to put my lunch, so after I got up and he bopped me in the face with a football in his bag. Adopted 2 kittens when I wasn't ready for them. I tried to get them rehabilitated but they escaped. I still worry about them and hope they're okay. But I know they're probably not. Try not to judge me because it was a long time ago, but one time I made love to my best friend's girlfriend, and the morning after I was filled with regret. As you can imagine, microwave a hard-boiled egg. It made a strange high-pitched sound just before it exploded in my face. Went to the emergency room to get my eyes flushed. No permanent damage. Woke up after a night out with my married boss next to me. Had got blackout drunk and slept with him. The regret and anxiety I felt that morning, I will never forget. Posting this very comment because I'm feeling so edgy in the moment. I'll probably downvote myself or delete it in a couple of minutes just to prove my point. I said something incredibly cruel and racist to someone that didn't want anything more than to be my friend at summer camp. I'm so sorry, Al, I really am. Oh, hitting that snooze button feels like a roller coaster of regret, right? It's like a quick decision that instantly brings on the oh no moment. Post or comment anything on Reddit that has anything even vaguely arguable because people will argue anything just for the sake of being right. Ask someone out who friends assured me was interested. Ghosted after asking. Friends were confused. I politely asked not to be set up again. Took a sip of alcohol at age 19. It took 10 years of my life away from everything everyone I ever loved and enjoyed. Now's the reset. Cheated on my wife with a woman I wasn't even attracted to because she was willing and available. Post nut clarity set in so deep. Continued a back and forth with a random moron online. SMH. I'd quit. I was determined to prove my point. Not like it was possible. After I saw Reality Bites I was drunk in friend's bathroom, tried to give myself Winona Ryder's hairdo. I had long hair, not good. Tried to clean the dirty edge of a knife by pressing my thumb against it and then making a rapid movement across the blade. Don't touch the thing. I touched the thing and had to explain to people how I managed to burn my fingers on an ice maker. Touch a soldering iron. I didn't think the metal part I touched would get that hot. Burnt straight through my fingers. Put my hand on the grill to see if it was hot. And the worst thing is that I have done it on several occasions. Here, no evil monkey. I was jumped off the construction barge at night on the Mississippi River. I almost died. I do not suggest this. Went on to Bumble when I should have booked a flight abroad and I ended up falling for a girl who broke me. Writing comments and getting stupid replies. which requires me to respond and correct their way of life. Marry my first husband. I realized in a very short time days that I had made a terrible mistake. Man here. Put Bengay on my legs once after soccer game when I was 17. I then closed my legs. Let someone kiss me when I didn't want to. Which led to a relationship I also didn't want. I just hate most of my social interactions. I'm awkward. I don't know how to fix it. Tried kissing my step-sis. Worst decision I made, ruined the bro-sis relationship. Tried to save a few bucks to repair my laptop. Ended up ruining it completely. Posted some furniture on Facebook Marketplace for free. Again, woman shrugging, smiley face, blurred out the OMFG extremely funny emoji joke without counting to 10. Allowing my cousin to molest me on the daily because thought it was okay. Was gonna say sleep with a guy, but I've gone on to do more, so yeah. Smoldered a fat hit of DMT. Wrapped up psychedelic phase real quick. Tried a DIY haircut. Ended up looking like a rogue lawnmower victim. Knocking back a job that by now would have netted me 6 figures a year. I have more regret over the things I've failed to do, to be honest. I came to see somebody say a child and comment, but nobody did. Asked Siri for relationship advice. Now single and regretful. Tried to teach my dog to dance. Now he hides when I groove. Everything I say when I'm upset and I'm just being petty. It happens so often, I've lost count of the occasions. Letting my ex move. Actually, that whole relationship